My name's Tristan Omand, and you're listening to IPMNation.com.
IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Matt from IPMNation.com here at The Planet. And running the show, running things, making sure everything sounds great is Mr. Tim Martin from CentralNHEvents.com. If you need a DJ for your event, go to that website at your next possible convenience and hire Tim. He does a great job. His picture is on the site, so you can see who will be showing up at your shindig. He does a great job, so definitely contact him, CentralNHEvents.com. And with us in the studio this week is Mr. Tristan Omand. I'm calling everyone Mr. this week. Tristan Omand.
Classy
Am I saying your
dude.
last name correctly?
Omand, yeah, that's how a lot of people say it. Omand, really.
Oh, it's Omand. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say it correctly. I want to do things right.
Yeah.
You should hear how my name gets butchered. But Tristan, welcome to the show, and
Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to chatting with you. But let's start with a track. You brought a CD, and by the way, I really like the cover of this, and we'll talk about that too.
Thank you.
But your disc, Told Stories, and Told is TOLLED. Mm-hmm. Why is that? What, do you live in Merrimack?
No, it's not a spelling error. Well, I was trying to think of a name for it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, the songs are kind of, not all of them, but they each kind of tell a story. And my initial idea was not a concept album, but for it to kind of progress and
Sure.
tell a certain story. And I was like, something should have something to do with stories, and it's like told stories, but TOLD, that seems weird,
Right.
So I figured like told, like a bell tolled, like
I get it.
stories
Okay.
that kind of
So it's not a
kind of
toll
hit
that
you
you
in
pay.
a way, No, yeah, it's told like a bell. But
I dig it.
I don't really. Sometimes if I like the sound of something or like the feel of it, I won't think about it. Does it make sense? No. Like a lot of my lyrics, some people like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But it's kind of poetic license. You can do whatever you want with words.
Exactly.
Like if it makes sense to you, it doesn't necessarily make sense to someone else.
Right.
And if you did everything textbook by the book, then it's boring.
Right. Then it wouldn't be art.
Right. Exactly. That's the whole point of art, is being able to take normal life and put a different spin on it.
I agree. Well, let's hear a track from Told Stories. And by the way, I want to mention too that you're going to be playing live for us later, which I'm really looking forward to. But let's play a track from the disc. What do you want to start the show with?
I think I'd like to hear Broken Hearted Woman.
All right. Yeah. So this is Broken Hearted Woman from Tristan Omand.
Omand. You got it.
You're on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
Just a traveler on a broken road, lost alone, just trying to find my way back home. 6 strings to the wind and a heart of gold, lost track of time and I'm headed out on my own. Oh, the sun is killing my eyes, but I keep walking into it. I'm on my way to see what lies up the block. And as my feet traverse these American streets, they will carry me to where I need to be. They will carry me to where I need to be. Oh, hard-nosed, broken-hearted woman, you got a reason to be sad. Blacked out, beaten and discouraged, you wipe your tears away with a bloody rag. Just a rhyme, and there ain't no shame in just being there for the ride. While you keep taking orders from the 9 to 5, I'll be finding Dixon line, yeah. And it's a crying shame, but I wipe away those tears. No use losing sleep over what's already lost. I'm hardly on the path, but I can find my way, and I'll buy my happiness back at any cost. Oh, hard-nosed, broken-hearted woman, you got a reason to be sad. Blacked out, beaten and discouraged, you wipe your tears away with a bloody rag. Bloody rag. Broken-hearted woman, you got a reason to be sad. Blacked out, beaten and discouraged, you wiped your tears away with a bloody rag. My name and cross my heart, burn my bridge and never part. Beat me down, but I'll get back up and knock you over.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Matt from IPMNation.com, sitting here with Tristan Omand. And we just heard a track from Told Stories. And I want to ask you about this cover. Mm-hmm. This is a really cool cover. And obviously listeners can't see it, but if you go to... Is this on your website, TristanOmand.com?
It is, TristanOmand.com.
So you can go and check out the cover.
Yeah.
Which, do you want to describe it? Because it's cool. And
yeah.
There's something specific that's cool about it. But
well, I'll give you a little background. It's taken by a friend of mine, a photographer from Boston named Ariel Kessler. Okay. And she's kind of like a more fine art photographer, and so that's shot in medium format film, and then scanned in obviously. But I'm up in this. That's actually at my parents' house in the attic. Okay. And it's like a real old kind of colonial style house, and the attic looked kind of funky. So, I was just trying to kind of sum up the album, and it's like, I recorded it. It was my thing that I created. So it's me sitting, in front of the window in this kind of creepy attic. Not it's creepy, but kind of beaten up. And, right. And I'm pressing the record button on this old tape deck, and I'm sitting there with my guitar. And
well, tell us about the tape deck, because that's what jumps out. At me looking at this picture. I noticed the tape deck.
It's just an old tape deck that like my dad had, and I always used to tinker with audio stuff and old stereos and cassette decks and stuff like that when I was younger. Yeah. And I hadn't used that for a long time, but me and my friends used to cut demos on it and stuff, and just basic stuff. But
no, it's very cool. I dig the cover. I recommend everyone check it out.
Oh,
and tell me about.
It's also at Newbury Comics. It's at Newbury Comics and Bull Moose Music too.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Very good. Okay. So better yet, instead of just checking it out, they can buy it.
Sure. Yeah.
And tell me about, you mentioned you and your friends used to record on that. Mm-hmm. Actually, the recording of the album was done not in a big fancy studio necessarily, right?
No, I just did it in my bedroom on like a Tascam 8-track. And my whole thing was I wanted to do what I could with what I had, and what I had wasn't really expensive gear. You know, and I've never been one to spend all my money on gear and then be totally broke and think that good gear is going to make you better, but it's all about how you play it. Yeah. And you can do amazing things with basic stuff, like, sure. I knew what I wanted, and I just pretty much put it down, and I wanted the record to be reflective of what I did live. So I didn't want to put all these extra, drums and keyboards and all this extra dressings, because I can't do that live. And I wanted it to be exactly how, almost not exactly. I added a few things, a few overdubs, but
sure.
I wanted it to be feasible for me to deliver the album live, because that's the worst thing, is to go to a show and it's totally, it's this big production, but then the people just can't deliver. It's one thing if it's supposed to be a stripped down acoustic show, but and I've always kind of had a simplistic viewpoint on creating and making music anyways. So
this album is literally just you. It's truly a solo project.
Yeah, I'm the only person playing on it. I played all the parts, all the guitar leads, everything. I recorded it, I mixed it, I funded it myself. I put it out on my own label, Raised in the Barn Recordings. I distributed it. I had, like I said, Ariel Kessler did the cover work. And then I had it mastered at a place in Boston, who actually mastered the first CD that I ever did when I was 15. This guy mastered it, and it's long back. It's like, oh, look him up again, see if he's still doing it, and he's still doing it. So
wow.
But it was pretty much a solo effort completely, and I don't know. I'm pretty proud of it, and I'm happy with how it came out. It's the first thing I've ever done, and I've been playing music for almost 15 years now. I'm only 25, but I've been playing, that for 15 years. And when I look back on all the recordings that I've done, it's the only one where I'm like, I wouldn't change a thing.
No kidding. Yeah.
And it feels good to be able to say that, but
right. So you've done a lot of recording prior to this?
Yeah. I mean, I've always, I don't know. I think it's probably the seventh or eighth album I've been a part of. Oh, wow. And then there's been a ton of little demos and EPs mixed in throughout with different projects and bands, and I had 2 solo EPs before this. Okay. And then so it's my first real full length as a solo artist.
Now the other ones that you did you do those the same way? Were those also done on your Tascam, or
one of them was the most recent one before Told Stories, a Graveyard Song. I did that. Was the first home recording that I really released out to the world, not as a demo. Okay. And then, but the one before that was done by a friend of mine named Matt Drew, who I used to play in bands with and stuff. He recorded for me in the barn, my parents' barn at the time.
Yeah. Now you go on tour with this, right? With this CD, have you been? Because I seem to remember when I met you, the night that I met you, that you'd been actually doing some touring, not just sticking around here, right?
Yeah. I think I did my first tour with a band when I was like 19 maybe, or 18.
Yeah.
I dropped out of college to go on. I went to college for like a month.
Really?
Yeah, at the tech school, and then I just stopped going because I knew music was always my lexicon, like this driving force, and I just couldn't grasp school, because I knew it's like once I had the guitar, that everything made sense. That was what I was going after.
Did you have a major?
It was like automotive technology or something.
No kidding.
So I'd go and listen to like an 8-hour lecture about steering, suspension, and alignment, and totally fall asleep. Yeah. And the band I had at the time was practicing 5 days a week. We were practicing every day after work, and then we'd go out on tour, and we did a couple tours. Yeah. We played a lot of shows, and we broke up on tour. And then,
really?
Yeah. It was pretty. It was drama. These things happen. A band is a hard thing to keep together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What was the band?
This band called State Street Liars.
Okay.
So it's pretty short lived.
Yeah.
But
so you broke up on tour?
We did, yeah.
What happened? Can you tell me?
It was kind of like a falling out with our drummer. Yeah. And we were in New York City, and we had gone as far south as Birmingham. Florida. We went down to Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, we were gone for like 2 weeks or something, but it just wasn't happening. Sometimes things just don't work out. It's a long story, but yeah. So, and then I did a few tours up until then, and then but this last May and June was the first real solo tour I ever did, and I booked it. I booked all the shows. It ended up being like 14 shows, and I was gone for 18 days. And I played as far as New Orleans. I played 2 shows down in New Orleans.
No kidding.
And yep. And I got to play all kinds of different places and all kinds of different areas. I met a ton of people. I stayed with people I met. That's the great thing about independent touring. You play a show, people are like, oh, I dig your set, and you start talking to them, and then they're like, oh, well, if you need a place to crash,
Yeah.
and I slept on people's floors. I slept on couches. I slept on air mattresses.
Yeah.
Wherever, and it was great. I ended up, I played like a pub in this small town in North Carolina. It was like the only bar in town.
Yeah.
So everyone was there on a Friday night, and that was like, it was awesome.
That's very cool.
And then
Yeah.
I drove, and I did pretty good financially at that show. Not great, but good. And it pushed me along another 500 miles with
Sure.
the money I made. But then the next show was in Nashville, and that's a 500-mile drive over to Nashville from where I was through the Smoky Mountains, and that was beautiful.
Huh.
It was a white knuckle drive because it's like very, very narrow roads, and
Really?
there's
Yeah.
trucks left and right of you just going and going, and they're windy and narrow and up
Yeah.
and down, and then so I played like pubs, cafes, like pretty much anywhere, and like I played this place called the Nick in Birmingham, Alabama, which it's like the CBGBs of the South.
Oh, no kidding.
Like
Huh.
the Chili Peppers played there in the 80s, and like Living Colour, and like all kinds of bands like that. And I ended up headlining a heavy metal show.
Wow, no kidding.
And yeah, it was just like the guy from New Hampshire with an acoustic guitar, goes on at 1:30 in the morning at a metal show in Birmingham, Alabama.
Wow.
And but almost everyone ended up sticking around. I made friends with all the bands. They're all great people. I still keep in touch with them on
That's
on
awesome.
Facebook, and everybody dug my stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just such a blast. It's like, that's the great thing about being on tour. I could never just sit around my hometown and just play the same open mic or something. Like, that's
Right.
great if that's, if that's your aspiration, then you can get really friggin' good at that, and that's awesome.
Right.
But I always just wanted to. There's so many places to play, and there's so many
Sure.
places to go, and songs to write, and so I was always like obsessed with like the road, getting out on
Yeah.
the road, and so that's the great thing about touring is it's a different town every night. It's hard. It's hard on you. It's hard financially, and it's hard to, especially if like I went out there by myself for 18 days, like driving. I did like 5,000 miles,
Yeah.
and I almost went crazy. Like, you just need to do little things to keep yourself sane. Like, I listen to music constantly, and read Wikipedia, like play my harmonica while I was driving.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Just like one hand, just play my harmonica just to keep things interesting. And I met a lot of great people, and I was able to stay with some friends that I knew along the route.
Sure.
And but I'd say the highlight of the trip was probably New Orleans for sure.
Yeah.
It's a great city. Yeah.
It must be. I mean, it obviously sounds like a lot of work, and there is some stress involved with it, as you alluded to. But it must also, I would think, on some level, be kind of freeing to not do that with the band, because you've gone on tour.
Right.
I mean, you went on tour
it's
with
a big
band
production when you're on tour with a band. You got like a trailer, and you got big amps and drums and all kinds of stuff. And when you go out, you're just a guy with a guitar and a car or a truck. In my case, you just go, and there's something more freeing about that. It's like you just get in the car with your guitar and some supplies, and you just go, and it's much easier to get by if you're only one person, or a solo act, because it's not such big production to support, and you can almost kind of squeak by if you're out there playing by yourself, because especially if you're solo, like it's open. There's a wide variety of different places you can play.
Do you have any advice for people who, because there's so many people who I talk to, people who come on this show who talk about, we want to get out of New Hampshire and go on tour. We just, we haven't done it yet, but we're thinking about it, but we're not sure how to do it or whatever. I mean, do you have any advice for people who are in that situation?
I'd say that it's the only thing stopping you from doing stuff like that is yourself. Yeah. Like I grew up in the punk rock scene, and that whole scene is about DIY, do it yourself. Right. So it never occurred to us. I mean, maybe when I was 10 years old or 11 years old, we're like, dude, let's send our demo tape out to this record label, man. Record this crappy demo tape on a cassette deck, and then we'll and I remember handwriting these and I had crappy handwriting, just chicken scratch, little kid writing dear, whatever records, dear Reprise Records. Please listen to my demo tape, you know?
Yeah.
And then we never even mailed those. And then I think it was like right after that, it's like, don't wait for anybody to do stuff for you. If you sit around waiting for things to happen, chances are they're never going to happen, or you're going to get old and wish you acted on those impulses.
Yep.
That's the whole thing. It's like, we never thought to try and get signed or anything. We were just like, what?
Right.
We're not going to wait for anybody to do this for us. Like, we'll just put it out ourselves. And
Yeah.
it's such a... When you realize that, it's such a freeing thing. And it's like, you can go on tour. You just have to put in the work and book the tour.
Right,
There's
right.
So if you're really motivated to play music and for music to be your thing, like you just have to go for it. You can't be afraid. You have to just sing your ass off. You have to be willing to put in the time. And it's a hard work, drive 300 miles to play like a half-hour set, and then you make like $20.
Right.
You can't quit after that.
Right, yeah.
You have to keep going, or like have like no money for food, and you eat like a spoonful of peanut butter for dinner or something.
Yeah.
And then you got to go play your set. Like, if you can, you just have to learn to get through the roadblocks like that.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah.
You can't give in early, and I'm still going after like almost 15 years now. I'm still trying, still writing, still practicing, still. It's because you're never, it's that like Zen thing, you're never a master of anything. There's no such thing as perfection. You're constantly a student, you're constantly learning. So that's just the viewpoint I have about it.
Yeah, no, very well said. Well, why don't we play another track from your disc? And like I mentioned earlier, too, you're going to play live for us later. But let's play another song from the disc, Told Stories. What do you want to play?
Let's see. Let's do... This Is All Happening. It's the first track on the record.
Okay, so this is All Happening from Tristan Omand here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
The blinking lights of the radio tower are flashing through my window. And somewhere off in the night there's a gunshot that reflects through alleys. And near a lake there's a house decomposing, and across a pond there's a meadow. And under a bridge there's a tiny fire burning, and above your head is a halo. And I'm alone, 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 but I ain't lonesome. Yeah, I'm alone, 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 but I ain't lonesome. I ain't. The screeching brakes of the Chrysler LeBaron destroy the silence of the day, and the people walking by screamed in horrors as they watched a young life slip away. And in a back room a deal's going down, and on a stage a hopeless band will play. A girl will cry and her boy will die in a war zone many miles away. And I'm alone, 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 but I ain't lonesome. Yeah, I'm alone, 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 but I ain't lonesome. I ain't lonesome. And I'm broke, 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 but I ain't broken.
100.1 The Planet's Local Outbreak with IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Matt from IPMNation.com here with Tristan Omand. So how many songs do you have? You've been at this a while. I mean, do you know how much original material you have at this point?
Like, as far as everything I've ever written?
Well, as far as what you can play now, as far as what you play in your current incarnation as a solo acoustic artist.
I probably have about, I don't know, man. It's because I have a lot of songs that are just demos, and I've always, forever, I've always kept notebooks in my pocket, and I always have all these scattered notes, and I'll fill up half a notebook and start a new notebook, and so there's always songs. But I mean, done songs, like I probably have, I don't know, a little over like that I've written in the last like 2-3 years, probably, I don't know, but probably close to 150. Like,
no kidding. Wow.
Like, all told, like all said and done, like, you know, because there's a ton just like sitting on like my 4-track as demos.
Sure.
That I've you know, forgotten about. And
that's
usually
a lot
if it doesn't grab me, I just move on to another one. I don't really toil with them too long. Like,
that's a lot of music, 150 songs as far as, you know, finished songs.
Yeah, and I've been writing little songs since I was like 11.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I don't know, however many hundreds or more on top of that I've, you know, I still remember, but
yeah,
that you know, I wrote with bands or that are probably lost somewhere. You know?
Sure.
It's just it's been a daily thing for me, not every day, but most days.
So when you record, like when you record an album like Told Stories, how do you decide? How do you narrow down what you're going to put on the
I
disc?
drive myself totally crazy and stay up really late and burn a ton of different mixes and listen to songs to death constantly
Really? Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
Like I was starting to drive myself crazy because I made 18 different mixes of the album. So I was like,
Really?
okay, I need to let this go. I need to just give it to the mastering guy. Yeah, like I did 18 different variations of it.
Wow.
And not recording 18 different albums, but like taking songs off, adding songs on, like it was mainly a mixing thing, like getting the mix right. That was just how I did it. But I don't know. You just kind of know when a song feels right, and when some of them feels forced, you kind of get it, and it's kind of tough, you know, like and when I was doing Told Stories, I kept writing. Like even when I was recording, I was still writing songs. So then I'd get going on it, and I would do it like in between my day job and stuff and whatever. It was pretty much all I focused on. So, you know, I'd go to start recording one day, and then I'd start thinking of another song. So I'd stop recording, and then I'd start writing it. But I had all my recording gear set up, so I'd lay down a basic guitar track, and then I'd lay down a vocal, and then I'd lay down a couple leads, and then I had a song.
Yeah.
And I wrote it that day, and then I'd get an idea for another song. And I think like 2 or 3 of those songs I wrote just wrote and recorded in the same day.
Oh, no kidding.
And just got them down, and I was like, this is great, you know? Like,
what about when you play live? Is it difficult to narrow it down then? Or, I mean...
No, I never write set lists. I just...
Really,
I just have a whole master list of all my songs, and I kind of just gauge the audience, and I don't want to give away all my secrets or anything.
No.
But I don't know. I go about it. I go about music too with however I'm feeling that day. It's not this set procedure. I mean, I've done that before, like hammering out set lists and doing things a certain way, and like everything is so like has to be this certain way. But no, like doesn't have to be that way. You can just to go about it with a fresh and open mind is the best way to do it, and I don't know. I usually have a good idea of what I want to play. You know, I do have favorite songs to play, so I kind of just go. I have like a pretty good, with the rate of which I've been playing, I have, you know, a pretty good set list going. But I change it up and I throw things in, and then I'll, you know, someone will yell out a song, and I'll just kind of figure it out in my mind as I go along.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Just kind of play it by ear, but.
With that much material, do you ever do shows where you play the whole night, or are you usually...
Oh, yeah. I played a couple weeks ago in Haverhill at the Chit Chat Lounge, and I did 3 45-minute sets.
No kidding.
And, I did that the other day, too, down in Amesbury, Mass, at this place called Mill 77 Trading. It's like a 3-story mill building. It's a consignment and antique shop. And
oh, no kidding.
I played in the corner. I did like an hour set, and then like another hour set, and then like a 45-minute set with breaks in between. But and I only played one song twice.
Really? Yeah.
So I had enough material for that.
Yeah.
But I like those gigs. Yeah.
Wow.
Because you can kind of reinterpret things.
Right. So are you... I mean, obviously you've done some touring, but when you're home, basically, I mean, are you playing a lot of shows around New Hampshire or around New England? Or?
A lot of New Hampshire shows. A lot of I play Manchester, my hometown. That's where I'm from. I do like the Shaskeen is my regular place there, but I'll play. Sometimes in the Seacoast area, like out in Dover. I play out in Keene. I've played up north in Gorham. Last April I did I did 3 shows in one day. I did
Wow.
Gorham, New Hampshire. I did a Vietnam veterans benefit, like wounded combat vets.
Yeah.
They had me play a show there. I did that. I drove up. It's like, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours up to Gorham. I think it's up there. Like, it takes a while.
Gorham's up there, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like-
And so I played at 2 o'clock. I was out the door by 3 and back down to Manchester, and I played at the Institute of Art at 5 o'clock. And then I did a full set there. I did a full set in Gorham too, but then after the Institute, I was out the door by 7, and I was on the road, and I played an all-ages show in Nashua.
Wow.
And I thought I'd be tired, but I felt great, and I wanted to play a 4th show.
Yeah, you're
But-
probably just
so-
running on the adrenaline. At
I
that
was,
point, right? I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's not a bad way to spend a day.
Right, yeah. But I've been playing like up in Portland,
Yeah.
and then I do shows down in Providence, and let's see, I do like Cambridge, Mass, and then I do gigs in New York City. Like I'll take the bus down, or that's the great thing about New Hampshire. Like I love New Hampshire as a state and a place to live, and but it's very centrally located. In the sense that it's, very close to Portland. It's very
True.
close to Providence. You got New York City's like a 4.5-hour drive.
Yeah.
It's such a great area to play music in. Like, and I don't
Yeah.
know why people have this inclination to leave so often. It's such a great place to live.
Yeah.
And it's a great music scene. And I'm happy to be from here. Like,
It's interesting that you say that, because I've had people ask me over the years why I stay here. Literally, like people have said to me, "Why do you stay here? Why don't you move to Boston or move to New York or something?" And it's like, well, what you just said, where Providence is a couple hours, Portland's a couple hours, Boston's an hour, depending. I mean, I live in Concord. I can get to Boston in an hour pretty easily. It's like you said, it's very centrally located in terms of your proximity to these different cities. So I don't,
Definitely.
I certainly don't feel isolated here, but yeah, some people do take that attitude about it.
It's a great home base, I think.
Yeah.
And I had the thing. It's like I moved away for a little while. I moved to New York City for like 5 months and lived in Brooklyn. And
No kidding.
And I played shows around there. And I always knew I'd come back to New Hampshire, but I ended up coming back, and I'm happy. It's like that Tom Waits lyric. I never knew my hometown until I moved to the West.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, and I think it's a great area. People are the most out of, like, I've traveled all over the East Coast. I haven't been that far west, but like people are the most down to earth around here. Most of them, they tell you like it is. Like
Sure.
there's a lot of fake people everywhere, but
Sure.
like I think it's something about the cold or the climate or something,
Right.
but the whole live free or die thing. But
Yeah.
people are just, I don't know. They're just the people I know in New Hampshire are just like, I don't know, it's the cliche, but salt of the earth kind of people. There's a lot
Right.
of people like that. Maybe it's the area that does it. Maybe it's the granite. I don't know.
Maybe.
But,
You mentioned Tom Waits. Is he a big influence on you?
oh, he's a huge influence on
Yeah.
me. I'd say probably, I don't know. I put together lists in my head sometimes, like the top 5 best songwriters are my favorite, and
Yeah.
the ones that have always been a constant are like Tom Waits, especially like his lyrics, just and how raw his music is. Like
Yeah.
he recorded an album in a chicken shack, and it won a Grammy.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
there's no. He just reminds me constantly that there's no rules, and you
Right.
can do whatever he wants. He plays break drums for percussion stuff,
Yeah.
He plays the cigar box banjo, and it's like Tom Waits and Bob Dylan is a huge influence on me as far as
Yeah.
his lyrics and the way he approaches music. And I've always been a Johnny Cash fan, even when I was playing in punk bands and stuff. And
Yeah.
Hank Williams Sr. just kills me every time I listen to him.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that he died in 1953. And he was only 29. That's crazy.
I know.
And
yeah.
all the songs he wrote, and I'd call him one of the greatest songwriter ever. Like,
No
I'd
kidding,
agree with
yeah.
that. If somebody said it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of other great ones, but he was definitely special.
Yeah.
And my latest real favorite is John Prine.
Really?
I just
Yeah.
recently started getting real into John Prine, and I
Yeah.
really like his delivery and his songwriting.
Yeah.
I thought Bob Dylan and stuff was the tip of the iceberg until I heard John Prine.
Right.
It's great.
Absolutely.
But I just love music. there's nothing else gets me. Like right now, I'm getting all excited talking about music. I love listening to it, and I love finding old records, and I love hearing about who played on what and who produced what, and like I have all these like magazine subscriptions, American Songwriter, and I've always been a subscriber to a Guitar Player.
Yeah.
And I just eat it up ever since I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
I started playing. I haven't been able to put the guitar down. So.
No, it's a good thing. Absolutely. Well, why don't we play another track from your disc, Told Stories?
All right.
What do you want to play?
Well, let's see. Victory Day is a good one.
Victory Day?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you should play that.
All right. So this is Victory Day from Tristan Omand and his disc Told Stories here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
As the turnstiles turned, I broke into a run. Thought I saw a revolution, but it hadn't quite begun. By the water in a bottle, there was a note from a man describing plans for a sailing ship. A draft card fire in a cast iron stove. Young smiling couple eagerly waiting to elope. Blame it on the young ones, then pin it on the old. Grab hold of the unknown before we all get sold. And it's a high and mighty price to pay. This ain't no victory day. Gray day from the East Bay to the New York freeway. Overpass passed over me. I wanted to break free from my surroundings. I could hear the murmuring, I could hear the churning, see books burning, people unlearning. And the sky broke in two and it started raining, the people feigning their disdaining feelings. All the lovers will kiss for the last time as the sunshine disappears. And it's a high and mighty price to pay. This ain't no victory day. Gray day from the East Bay to the New York freeway. From the sea to the sky. To the dirt burying the dead. From your feet up to your head.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Matt from IPMNation.com here at The Planet with Tristan Omand, our guest this week. And Tristan, let's tell everyone where to find you online.
The best place to go to is my website, which is www.tristanomand.com. That's Tristanomand. You can also find, I got a Facebook music page. It's facebook.com/TristanOmandMusic. You can find me on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, like pretty much anywhere you can buy digital music online. And you can also get my disc Told Stories and Newbury Comics, and also in Bull Moose.
Very good, very good.
So,
yeah, it definitely sounds like you've got all your bases covered, which is awesome.
trying to.
Yeah, especially since, like we were talking earlier, it's all DIY. You're a one-man machine.
Yeah, I've always been kind of independent. Even as a kid, I didn't want to ask for help.
Really?
For a lot of stuff, and which kind of burned me in some ways. But sometimes if you just do it, just get your hands dirty and try something, you end up learning better than if you're always instructed on how to do something. It's like I think very abstract in some ways. I think very differently than a lot of people. Everybody thinks differently from
Sure.
one another.
Sure.
But yeah, I had a vision in mind, and I knew what I wanted to do, and I was like, all right, how do I do this? You know, I've always been a list maker, so I'd draw it out and make a list of what I would need to do and how much money I needed to raise or save up, and just do it. There's so many, especially in the age that we live in. You don't need to be signed. You don't need to have an agent. You don't need all that stuff. Like, you can be your own booking agent. You can be your own like promotion company, you know, like you can start your own label. And that's what people need to do, is they need to, you know, get out there, start your own record label, start like a zine, start like, just do things and go out. And the most important thing, go out and see live music.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
like, I was talking with a friend of mine, and he was like saying how most people, he's like, yeah, man, he's like, most people around here, you know, they'll sit at home on the couch and they'll like glued to the screen watching American Idol.
I know, yeah.
You know, these people. But there's people like me and so many other independent artists that are out there every night busting their butt. Yeah. And only a fraction of people care.
Right.
Or are really taking notice, you know, like, there's so many great undiscovered bands and songwriters that, you know, just get overlooked because of things like American Idol or stuff like that.
It's true,
people's perception has been twisted of what music is.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and there's still a lot of people like going back to the roots of songwriting and of, you know, like the recent like resurgence of folk and roots music, like with the Avid Brothers and Mumford and Sons, and all those bands. Like, I feel like there's another kind of revolution happening as far as independent music goes. Like, iTunes has changed things just as much as Napster did.
Oh, sure.
And, you know, like there's a ton of independent bands that are out there, and they're doing pretty well because they've recognized that it's up to you, you know?
And the internet helps make that possible.
The internet is a huge thing, you know? Like, I'm not a super, you know, adamant dude about my Facebook music page, you know, like but sometimes I get more wrapped up in real life things. And I've always thought about it. I want to play shows and I want to do all these things and release albums, but at the end of the day, I'm just playing these songs that I wrote at home. They're just these songs. I'm just a guy and a guitar. Right. And I'm not going to try and oversell it. I'm not going to try and beat people over the head with it. I'm not going to do big campaigns to get people to listen to my stuff. Right. You know, like, I just want to do what I feel is right. And, you know, and I'm just going to keep working hard, and whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to sell myself and make people think I'm something that I'm not, you know, because I just try and give it an honest delivery, and that's the only way I've ever known how to do it.
Right,
you know?
right. So. Absolutely. Well, you're going to play for us in a minute, and looking forward to that. Sure. But I also want to remind everybody, too, that if you like what you hear tonight, you can go to IPMNation.com/local outbreak. I have this habit now where I almost say localoutbreak.com, which doesn't exist.
Well,
but maybe
you should.
Maybe I need to build it. Maybe I just need to bite the bullet and do it. But for now, you can go to IPMNation.com/local outbreak. And if you check out tonight's show online, you will hear a bonus performance. Tristan's actually going to play a couple songs live for us. One which you can hear on the radio here on the Planet 100.1. And if you go to IPMNation.com/local outbreak and get the podcast, you can hear a bonus performance of Tristan Omand as well. Right. And also want to remind everybody, too, that go to centralNHEvents.com. If you need a DJ for your shindig, mention Shindig, and you'll get the Shindig discount. Tim does a great job, so definitely hire Tim Martin to DJ your next shindig. CentralNHEvents.com, and Tristan's setting up here, and we're gonna hear what are you gonna play for us tonight to close out the show?
I think I'm going to play a couple new tracks that are coming off, going to be on my next album, actually, because it's been almost a year since I released Told Stories. Okay. So I'm going to do a song called By the Morning.
Okay.
which I wrote. And then I think I'm going to do another song called Wild Animals.
Okay. So Tristan's going to play By the Morning for us now. And if you want to hear the live performance of Wild Animals, like I said, go to ipmnation.com/local outbreak to get the podcast. And in the meantime, right here live in the Planet Studio to wrap up this week's Local Outbreak is Tristan Omand playing, what did you say the name of the song was again?
By the Morning.
By the Morning, here at the Planet from Tristan Omand on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
All right. My name's Tristan Omand. You're listening to 100.1 The Planet, and this one's called By the Morning. There's something sticking in my side, like a thorn I can't hide. Got an axe to grind. Should I spell it out for you, my dear? 'Cause in my ear the bells they ring. Suppose I will let them clang and sing. Do I miss you? Well, I don't know. I'm still reeling from the blow. Yeah, ha, 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 ha. Maybe I'll laugh after it all goes down, down, down. In every city, in every town, they're throwing their money down. West flowing river by the trestle is where I left my heart. Now it sets in my chest all apart, and it beats to my song and my drum. Just give me some of that old time feeling, baby. By the morning I'll be stealing away, and the road will call my name. I guess that's it, dear. It's time for me to roll on to another morning sun. Oh, but my soul will not rest. I think I will stay in the east, and you can stay in the west. Yeah. Ha, 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 ha. Maybe I'll laugh after it all goes down, down, down. In every city, in every town, they're throwing their money down.
100.1 The Planet's Local Outbreak with IPMNation.com.
The Planet's Local Outbreak is recorded weekly at the studios of 100.1 The Planet. It's engineered by Tim Martin of CentralNHEvents.com. Matt Connerton of IPMNation.com is the host of The Planet's Local Outbreak. The show is produced and edited by Annie Biello of 100.1 The Planet. For artist links and details about The Planet's Local Outbreak, log on to The Planet's Entertain Me page, WPNHFM.com. The Planet's Local Outbreak is available for download anytime online, IPMNation.com/local outbreak. The Planet's Local Outbreak is a product of 100.1 The Planet and Northeast Communications.
All right, my name's Tristan Omand, and this is called Wild Animals. The stench of humanity, the smell of the fight. We drink in dark places and find peace in the night. But some of us pillage and
and others throw stones. Yeah, some people murder, and others dig bones. Oh, but the skeletons in your closet won't sit well with your suits. Wrong ain't right if that's all you can do. So pardon me, sister, I'm gonna make a bold statement. I think we're all worse off if we all stay complacent. Wild, wild animals, wild, wild animals, wild animals we are. Wheat fields are golden, the grass is sometimes green. We walk in the footsteps and we bask in the sheen. But some of us are divisive and others are worse. Yeah, some people scoff at the ones who came first. But the skeletons in your closet, they won't sit well with your suits. Wrong ain't right if that's all you can do. So pardon me, mister, I'm gonna make a bold statement. I think we're all worse off if we all stay complacent. Wild, wild animals, wild, wild animals, wild animals we are.
My name's Tristan Omand, and you're listening to IPMNation.com.
IPMNation.com.